All right. How's everybody doing? It is good to see everyone.
Very well, Patrick. Thank you. Hey,
Cool.
Paul, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Greg, how are you, man? All the winners in the room.
Yeah, hanging in there.
All the winners in the room. That's what I like to see. That's awesome. Look at Jeff's gangster hat, man. He's got more roof on that hat than anything. That's awesome.
I know.
I love it.
Dan Martell special. He's a gangster. He was a gangster as a child, and then he turned his life around. He's got a really interesting story if you haven't heard it.
Who is it again? Sorry.
Dan Martell.
Dan Martell. He's our SAS coach. He's
Okay.
he's a really interesting guy. He just put out a book called Buy Back Your Time. If you're
Yeah.
into that, check it out.
Read that book, everybody. I really recommend it. Dan is probably the best mentor coach that I've ever been exposed to. I can't really think of anyone that really rivals him at this point. And while he is a coach for software founders, I mean, a lot of the advice and a lot of the things that I've learned are just like good life and business advice, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's from Canada, up in Kelowna, and he was as a teen, he was doing a bunch of crazy stuff and had stolen a car and had some guns and all this crazy stuff. And then he went to some, youth correction facility or whatever, and got in. Some guy inspired him, and now he's probably, what is he, 40, Patrick? And he's multiple SaaS exits, and just man, he's mindset wise, he is on point. Really incredible the way he's
Of course he's from Canada. I mean, come on.
Well, the Canadians,
Paul,
they
you were
either come to
cheering that he
LA,
was from Canada, and then when
they
Jeff
either
said he
come to
stole the
LA
car,
and
you
become
got all
actors,
quiet.
or
Make sure it's gonna turn out okay.
Hey, lots of good stuff happens here, man.
Yeah.
So
Right.
does Dan own his own SaaS company, or is he an affiliate of other SaaS companies? How does he?
He's had multiple exits from SaaS companies. He started Clarity. He is part owner of a bunch of different programs. He's helped coach some of the biggest SaaS companies. He helped coach the guys from ClickFunnels hired. So Russell Brunson hired him. And I know that he's probably the most well-connected person I know. I know that he's like friends with the guys from Airbnb and Uber. And when we went to his SaaS event in Kelowna, Canada, we went out to dinner, and the mayor came to join us at the dinner, the mayor of the town. So
Nice.
yeah, the speakers that he brings in, and I'm hesitant to mention the speakers that he brings in, because then we're going to talk about our event, and we're not having this type of speaker.
Bringing Dan to your event? What's up with that?
I wish I could get him to come. I tried to reach out to him, but he plans out his entire year before the year starts, and he plans out time for fun and stuff like that. So it would have been really hard to get him on short notice. But he brought in I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Club Penguin. That was one of the guy who created that. He sold it to Disney for $350 million. So he brought that guy in to speak at one of the events. The CMO, her name's Katie Foote from Salesforce, came and spoke. The guy who created that Lumi, it's like a desk, like a kitchen appliance where you can drop in food and it turns it into compost. That's like some huge product. That guy came and spoke, and
Wow.
he just brings in the some of the most talented people you could ever meet. And so I've had the pleasure of being on private Zoom calls with him, 3 or 4 people, and been through his coaching program for the last 2 years. And I pre-ordered his book. That's I read a lot, but as soon as that book was up, I'm like, send this to me instantly, So it's something we all need too. It's about getting our time back. We start the entrepreneurial journey on it's a dream of freedom and to empower us. And then a lot of times we get caught in the weeds with so much getting your time back and managing things in a better way is something I think almost everyone is going to need. And it's kind of the pathway to running a bigger business, because unless you start to do that, unless you buy back your time and leverage other people's time and run things in a more efficient manner, then you're just going to be stuck there forever, right? And you're never going to get to where you want to go. And this, just seeing how Dan operates is unbelievable. Like, so, he has what he calls a CEO for his house. So they have SOPs for their house, for the lady that like goes and gets groceries and dinner times, and he's got SOPs for everything. And this guy is not only doing this, but he's also like, next week he's going and he's like hella skiing. They're dropping him off on the top of a mountain and he's going skiing. So he's scheduled time for play. He spent 3 weeks with his family and traveling around Europe where he didn't even know where he was going to go. This like organization and stuff that he does a lot. I think a lot of people, they avoid it because they think it's like, well, hey, I don't want to give up my freedom with this commitment, but really it's the other way around. Unless you do this planning, then you get bogged down and then you don't have the freedom to do the stuff that you want to do. So he kind of like plans he says, hey, what are the things I want to do? And then he actually goes and plans those out. And it's just been super impressive. I encourage you guys to read that book and follow Dan Martell. He's not somebody that you should get coaching from unless you own a SaaS company, because that's what his coaching program is. It's really geared towards SaaS founders. That's how Jeff and I found him, is trying to understand this, how to run a better company for the people using LeadSnap. But
Cool. Very cool.
all right. How's everybody doing? We got some wins? Who's got some wins? Are we a bunch of losers this week, or we got some wins? Where we at?
I got a couple of jobs here on Upwork.
Alfredo sauce. What kind of win you got, brother?
So I got just what we call, or Caleb calls, a kickoff package, doing some keyword research, competitor analysis, content planners, and so that's got a couple wins there. I got one of my clients, my junk removal, he opened a painting company. So I got that going, setting that up for him. So I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome, man. Congrats. And I'm really happy that you're coming out to the event in a few weeks. It's going to be awesome to hang out with you, Alfredo. It was really cool hanging out in San Diego last time. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
Excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
Super cool. All right. Who else has a win?
I got a small win.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, yeah. So, speaking of Kelowna, I got some of my lead gens out there in Kelowna, and I have a concrete site. And I had this customer there last season, and he was just kind of getting started up, and I think I kind of overwhelmed him with a bunch of calls. So he ended up canceling, a few months in. And then, I got another guy, but he was a little bit flaky, and then kind of winter hit and, everything dropped off. So things are starting to pick back up. And then just out of the blue, this guy that I actually really like, he called me up and said like, hey, I really liked your service last year. I've hired a few more guys and I want to kind of sign back up. Right. So I upped the price on him a bit, and he was more than willing to jump back on board. So I'm just getting him onboarded this week, and we're going to get going. That's
awesome, man. That's super cool. Congrats on that. And Alex, I'm glad that you're coming out to the event as well. I think now you're traveling. You're certainly one of the people that's traveling the furthest, and we appreciate that, man. I know you're coming in from Western Canada to Southeastern. You're going from like almost the farthest parts of North America, right?
Yeah. It's like
cool,
15 hours of flying time, but I had some air miles, so I thought, Florida in the winter, I hear is pretty nice. So I might as well go check it out.
There's a swimming pool right here. It's 75 degrees out right now. It's like, I know that 75 degrees, I don't know how to translate that into Canadian off the top of my head, but t-shirt and shorts, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Super cool, man. I'm excited to spend some time with you in person and get to know you better and work through some of those challenges. I'm going to be booking, for those of you guys that Alex and everybody else, I'll be booking those calls with you guys this week. Just going to be 15-minute calls. I want to make sure that we are really building our instruction around, where people need it the most. So for those of you guys that have joined, if you guys haven't filled out that survey yet, make sure you do that. Alex, I know that you have, and Alfredo as well. But I think there's a few others that haven't got to that survey yet. We're definitely paying attention to that. And obviously all that stuff that you put in that survey is confidential. That's just for us to try to build the structure for you guys and set things up so that we can tailor it to, the people that are with what people are struggling with the most. So awesome, Alex, man. Really excited to hang out with you next month. Cool.
Yeah, right. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. What's
up, Pat?
What is that, Patrick Rulin?
Yeah, what's going on?
I know that voice. What's up, man?
Yeah, wins, man. Not losing any clients, man. That's my big win over
Yeah.
this slow time, December, January, didn't lose a single client.
That's great.
So that's good, traveling, just went to Dubai.
Man.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But,
Patrick, I feel like you're living the life that I was a while ago, where you're kind of just like traveling all over the place. I was doing it with my wife. You're single, but going and I look back on that time period and I'm so grateful. I learned so much. I know you're going out to Thailand next month, so you can't make it to the events. But
if you would have told me sooner, I would have changed the date.
I know what the bad part about this is our next event's actually going to be in Thailand, so it's just the timing. No, I'm just kidding. But the next one I think is going to be in the middle of the summer. I'll give you guys a lot more notice. So we're going to do 3 a year. And then, we'll give you guys a lot more notice, and it'll be better for us because with more notice, I think we can, plan out our speakers and stuff a lot. But we wanted to get something. We're in a really awesome spot right in South Florida. So we wanted to make sure that we gave you the opportunity to come here in the middle of the winter, right? And enjoy some of the sun. So, yeah, man, that's cool. I know this time of year, it's always hard to retain some of our clients where the leads die, right? You had to have done something right the rest of the year if these clients are going to stick with you through the slow time of the year. So that's definitely a win. And, we're almost out of it. I think we got, maybe just over another month. And then a lot of these niches that are dead during the winter are going to be in their high season. So that's super cool. And I think it's a huge win, Patrick, to be able to, this business model has afforded you this ability to go and do these travels and go to Dubai. And I know you were in Sri Lanka and now you're going to Thailand, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. That's what I like to do. Just get in a new place, not know anything, and just learn new experience.
Yeah, so cool, man. We definitely got to jump on that call and talk about Thailand, man, because I learned a lot while I was there. And
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, cool. All right, who else has some wins?
I'll go.
Oh, what's up, Sarah Bailey? How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
What
So
you
I
got?
wanted to share like a client getting strategy that's like working, and that is I went to Lowe's yesterday, and in the parking lot in the morning, I just drove around the parking lot, taking photos of working vans that were wrapped with phone numbers and business names. And one guy I got to talk to because he was walking back out to his car, and I'm going to hire him for some work around the house. And his current project is on some $7 million home doing remodeling, fixing, but I'll interview him and things. But anyway, so I got probably 8 to 10 new client leads that I can follow up with and just call them. Hey, I just, I was just at Lowe's. I saw your work van in the parking lot, and then just go from there.
Awesome. Yeah. I think, just taking the action, like whether these people turn into clients or not, like it sounds like there's a really good opportunity they will, but I think just taking that action, getting those reps in there gives you that confidence. And then this thing really starts to snowball, I've noticed constantly, it's not the people that are the smartest or the best with people or whatever it is that you think gives people an advantage. It's the people that take the most action. That's constantly what I see are the people that are most successful. The more action you take, the more results you get. Over time, that action has to be like changing directions and, getting other people on your team to take action, but just like getting things moving. And a lot of times when you feel that uncomfortability of like, hey, I don't want to call this person, I don't want to like approach this person. For me, there's like an inner spirit that's like, okay, if you're afraid to do it, then like that's exactly what I need to do. And if you do that enough, your comfort zone grows and all of a sudden you've got fulfillment issues instead of like client acquisition issues. Right?
The other thing is it's also, every single one of them is like, they're not a cold lead anymore because there's something in common because I saw their truck in the parking lot. And if their truck is in the parking lot and they're picking up supplies, chances are they at least have some work, right? So that's something to start with. And the guy that I talked to, said we got a conversation going. I asked him what kinds of things he did, what he likes to specialize in, and that I'm looking for some work done in my house too, and that I'm interviewing a few different companies because you know, it'll be easier for me to sell work or sell my services to a company that I'm going to trust and I know is going to be reliable. So if they're reliable, showing up at my house on time, they clean up after themselves at the end of the day, they don't leave dust and debris all over the place, like that's good news for future clients for them. And I don't want to partner up with just anybody, right? I want to partner with people who know what they're doing. They're professional, they have a good work ethic, they have, I prefer to have a company, you know, home services that have a couple trucks already, right? And they already have a crew or two, at least. And so this first guy sounded very promising, sounded very, you know, like he knows what he's doing. But I wanted to ask where he specializes, because he's like, I do everything. I'm like, well, okay, what do you like the best? Because that's, you know, where I want to start. And the thing about that, asked him about, you know, how does he generate most of his leads? Where does he get his business? And he said it's about 100% referrals. I said, do you have a website? I mean, because I wanted to know, it was part of my own strategy, like do you have, I want to be able to see some of your work. What is your website address? And he said, I don't have a website. I'm like, you don't? Like, and the average marketer is going to say, well, I can create one for you, right? But I don't want to do that. So I'm like, oh, you don't? I'm like, well, then how are you getting most of your clients? And it was by referral. I'm like thinking, all right, well, do you want to make more money? And he goes, well, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, then we should chat.
Yeah, I like it.
Digital marketing.
You're kind of like twisting the knife a little bit on something that he knows is a problem. Like this, like, oh, you don't have a website. Like this kind of like play towards that. It kind of like twists the knife on this lack of legitimacy, and I can solve this problem for you. Right. So
right. And I just want to jump in to rescue, you know, because people love to buy, right? But they hate to be sold. So he doesn't know my skills or what I'm able to do, or the kind of training in the network like you guys that I'm connected with to do really cool things. Because a lot of people say they build websites. So I'm like, oh, okay, well then if I can't see your work, how is it that I'm going to be able to see work you've done before I hire you? And a website would be great for that. So anyway, but that led to an interesting discussion, and that's where I am now with him. Awesome. Love that strategy. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great strategy that a lot of you guys can look for, look for this. So one of the things we're going to do, I don't know if there's any more wins. If you guys have more wins, just use the Zoom to click the raise your hand so that we can keep this organized. I'm going to quickly go over the event stuff. This was, for me, this was a win for us. Let me share my screen. So for those of you guys who haven't seen this, or people that are watching this a little bit later, we're hosting our first event in Fort Lauderdale. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, thanks, Paul. So we're hosting our event in Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of people that are on this call that are going to be at the event, and it's going to be a 3-day event in Fort Lauderdale. We sold out of the VIP tickets in about an hour and 10 minutes, which I'll tell you what, when this is the first time I've sold tickets to the event, and you know, I see the feedback that you guys get, and I know that a lot of you guys have asked for our coaching for a long time, and we haven't really had the offer there. But there's still that little person inside of you when you put something out, like, how is it actually going to do? So we sold tickets to join us at an event in California, and a lot of people jumped on that. That was amazing. But this is us like planning this thing out for a weekend and organizing all these different details, where we've got, like, you know, people flying in, and a bartender, and accommodations, and videographers, speakers, all these different pieces. So it's been a bit nerve-wracking for us, and it was amazing to see the reaction that you guys had, where we had these VIP tickets, and to be sold out of the VIP tickets, like almost before the call was over, we were gone from the VIP tickets. We still, I think, have 3 or 4 or 5 or something general admission tickets left. So if you guys are on the fence about joining, I highly recommend you jump on it. I think, you know, you're going to see the experience. If you're not there, you're going to see some of the highlights online. And, you know, for those of you guys that have been around me for a while, my priority is always to over deliver.
and I'm going to 100% be doing that at this event. I've got some really cool people that are coming in. We have a mansion that we've rented for the 3-day event, and it's going to be a lot of learning. It's going to be a lot of networking, and some of it's going to be just kind of like our fireside chats where we're going through things, talking amongst ourselves as a group. And I'm going to try to carve off one-on-one time for people as much as I can. The VIPs, once again, they're sold out. That included a one-on-one session with me. But for the people that are actually at the event, I'm going to do my best to try to spend some time with each one of you guys. So I know that a lot of you guys have been looking for that, and I appreciate that. That's a compliment to me that you value that. But we've got a few more. This is Alex Ramosi. He will not be at the event. This is our designer, was put that on there. So just to make that clear. But it's 22 days away. So this is kind of what the schedule is going to look like. From 1 to 5, we've rented out an office. So we have a professional office for the first VIP session. So we're going to do that there. And then we're all going over to the mansion. We've got a bartender. We've got appetizers, drinks. We're going to have a few hours, kind of like a meet and greet, stuff like this. We've got swag. We've got a couple other little small gifts for you guys that are making the trip out there. Saturday, it's going to be a busy day. So we're going to have breakfast. So that's going to be, we're taking care of the breakfast, and then we're going to have multiple sessions throughout the day with some different coaches. And we're going to have lunch there at the mansion. I always hate going to these events and everyone goes off to lunch and you're trying to coordinate rides and get back on time. So I didn't want that. We're bringing in the food for you guys. It's going to all be right there. It's an amazing, absolutely amazing property that we've rented for this event. So we're going to be spending some time there, and then we're going to have some more time, and then we're all going out to dinner in the city on Saturday night. We're going to have a great time. We're taking care of the dinner, and then on Sunday for the VIPs, we've got the breakfast, and we're going to have a little bit more learning time together. That Sunday morning is probably going to be more of a workshop where we're actually putting stuff in place. My goal for anybody that comes to this event is I want to set up a 90-day plan for you. So when you leave the event, you know exactly what you need to be doing over the next 90 days, and you've got clarity on it. A lot of times we procrastinate because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. If you're in that spot where you're like, man, I've got all these different things and I just don't know what direction to go. A lot of times that's coming from a lack of clarity. So my goal is to have an action plan. It's great to teach theory and strategies and some tactics and stuff, but I think what most of you guys need is an actual action plan of like, here's what I need to do over the next 90 days to get to this next level, which is my target. So that's what we're working towards. And then on Sunday afternoon, it's going to be the fun time. Obviously, there's still going to be a lot of business being talked, but we're going to have the pool party. So it's an amazing property with a beautiful swimming pool, heated. So there's going to be a good amount of people. We're going to have bartenders and food and stuff there. I think I've got my one of my best high school buddies. He's not actually a bartender, but he is one of those people that just likes to mix drinks. One of the most entertaining, likable people you've ever met. So I think I'm going to bring him in to be the bartender. He's like, just if he wasn't so good at selling for making tons of money, then like his second calling would be just that bartender, cab driver, interacting. So I'm bringing in someone I've known for a long time that I think that you guys will really enjoy hanging around. So if you guys, like I said, I think there's 4 or 5 tickets left. I don't have the exact number. We're trying to accommodate people as much as we can in these different spots. For those of you guys that are actually already have your tickets, if I forgot to put you into our group chats, then just hit me up or hit Jeff up and we'll get you in there. There's a lot of conversation going back and forth about the accommodations. I know there's some people that are splitting Airbnbs and stuff like this. And for those of you guys that are in that area where you're not a part of the VIP, like there is a ton of value in joining these other people and staying with someone else in an Airbnb. And like there's a lot of friendship and networking that's going to happen when we're not at the exact event. So I'll let you guys know. We sold out a lot faster. We had the plan to raise the price on this Sunday. So we're gonna raise the price. I don't know that it's gonna matter because there's only a few tickets left, but the price will be going up. So for those of you guys that are on the fence, there's some incentive. Get your ticket before Sunday. And if you are on the fence and like, hey, maybe things lined up or whatever, I would encourage you because of the limited space in the mansion, there's we can't go beyond that. This isn't like some scarcity tactic. We have limitations on how many people we can have in the property. There's only a few of those left. So does anybody have any questions on this event? Any comments, concerns?
Yo, I have so much FOMO right now. That's it. I just got FOMO, man.
Yeah, well, I have FOMO of you not being there, man. I wish I was excited. I would love it if
Yeah.
but we'll do the next one, right?
Yeah, I'll be at the next one.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Anything that we can help? That website is leadsnap.com/mastermind. If you guys want to book one of the final
I have
tickets.
one. This is Sarah. Hi. So I just got my ticket just now.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
There's one less ticket, guys.
I'd love to share Airbnb, but are there other women? Like, am I the only thing?
No, there's a lot of other women that are coming there. It's a surprising because it seems like this industry is so male dominated, but there's a lot of women that are going to be attending this event, like Janeri, Lindsay. I don't know. There's probably 6 or 7 other ones that I can't think of right now. So I think it's a pretty good split.
And then I know you don't want to maybe give out the address of the mansion yet, but is there like some address of something you could give us so that we can be looking for property?
Yeah, it's in Fort Lauderdale near Davie. A small area called Davie. So it's in that part of town.
Okay. All right,
yeah.
cool. All right, thanks.
And of course, you're going to stream this to all your other favorite Canadians that can't make it for whatever excuse they have. You're going to live stream this shit somehow, right?
I wish for this like first event, I talked to Jeff about it. Jeff said, "Look, Patrick, you're a great guy, but this is too complicated for you to figure out. So don't." I'm
just playing with you. It's all good. It's all good.
No, I know. We will be recording it. I'm bringing in a videographer. So. But I think
we'll get the replays out there one way or the other, Paul.
Yeah.
Awesome.
To coordinate it all in real time, it's just so much extra,
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All good.
We were looking at, Paul, how we could create a LeadSnap shirt that was orange for you, because I know you love that color, but I don't know, where that might be the next version.
I even got an orange bouncy ball here too, man. I'm supposed to be sitting on it for my ribs, but too lazy. It's too much work sitting on one of those bouncy things.
Yeah, man. It's just good to have it around sometimes. Maybe you could put your feet on it later.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Comments, concerns?
Hey, Patrick, the VIP, the first day, there's going to be transportation to that office?
Yeah, we'll get that taken care of for the VIPs. I've rented out a luxury SUV that I think we're going to be transporting you guys, trying to pick you guys up as best we can and getting you to that. And then we'll absolutely provide the transportation from the office over to the mansion. So that part will be there. Depending on the flight times and this kind of thing, we're going to do our best. But, if you come in at some, unusual time or something, then it may not be possible for that transportation to the first location. All right. If you guys are psyched, for the people that are going, throw it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear what you're most excited about during this event. The rest of the call.
One more question. I'm sorry. I'm filling out the form and I clicked on I'm in, and it says you'll have your reservation when payments received, but it said a message was sent. So does that mean you're going to contact me?
I think Jeff will reach out to you. He'll get the payment information to you. I've tried to avoid doing credit cards. We do credit cards, but for when it's not required, we've taken Venmo, because just, paying 3.5% is a lot for a lot of payments. So, but Jeff will give you that information and help you get that payment process to lock up your spot.
Okay. So Jeff, AT&T, they're switching my phone number. So the number that's
I'll
on the
just
form.
Facebook message you.
Yeah, that would be best. Thanks. Okay.
Got it.
All right. That's it. Thanks.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? Heated pool, jacuzzi. There's a basketball court. We'll find some way to play some sports out there. I'd love to hear. I don't know. I had this idea. So at the Dan Martell events, what we're talking about earlier on this call, he has something that he does, which he calls sweat every day. So every one of his events, they have like a morning thing. And I have a friend who's like, this guy's an unbelievable person. He's a yoga instructor. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. I was thinking about bringing him in for an early session. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback if that sounds interesting. This guy actually he had an exit on a software company, and he now is a yoga instructor, and he's like 27 feet tall. Looks like Janeri says she'd be down. Give us your feedback if that's something you're interested in, because I want to try to make this as awesome as possible for you guys. And I want you guys to be in the right state of mind. I think it's important for us to not just be in the classroom all day and dozing off. We got to take care of ourselves. You got to serve yourself first. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to go on the next session. The next part of the session for the next 30 minutes is just going to be question and answers. So you guys can ask me anything appropriate. You guys can ask me where you're struggling with your business. If there's anything that you want me to work through, dive into, I'm happy to do any type of like role playing for sales, stuff like this. We've had a super busy week, and it's been challenging for us to prepare all the materials to do a lesson. And it's been a while since we've done a question and answer. I know that our lessons don't apply. And some of you guys are asking questions in the Facebook group, and I wish, I'm like, I would love to answer that on a call, because that would be better. What's up, Spencer? Welcome aboard, man. So who's got questions? Who's struggling with something in their business? How can I help you?
Patrick? Hi, it's Ala.
Ala.
Sorry, I can't type. I'm behind the wheel. Good excuse. See?
That's all right. What's up?
Hold
It's good
on.
to see you.
Good to see you. So I have a client who's not a client yet. I kind of sold him on a future, and he's all about it. He wants me actually to work for him selling, which I can't do because I still have a full-time job. But now he wants me to work on his website and not my lead gen site. What do you think? Should I push back and like just keep the lead gen, or should I SEO him?
Yeah. So honestly, over the last year or so, my opinion on this has shifted a little bit. For a long time, we were just like strictly lead gen, and, just like interacting with other people and seeing the adjustments that Google has made, where a lot of our lead gen sites have taken a hit. I think there's a more kind of all weather-proof strategy that's going to rely on you guys to do a really good job of scaling your business and getting the right people into place. So I would, if I were in your shoes, I would take it, and I would make sure that, look, here's where I want, as you guys, for those of you that choose to enter into our coaching program, which I mentioned, for those people that attend the events, there's going to be a discount available for, I'm not going to be in your face to join our coaching program, but we are going to release it during the event. And part of where I want to take this is like offering more services, because when everything for your client is reliant solely on lead gen, that's great how it used to be, where our lead gens could just like stick to the top forever, and we didn't lose GMBs at the same frequency that we are today, and reviews and all these other like harder to get GMBs, all these things that have made this like part of the business more challenging. I think this is still the best business model by far. I love it. And it should be a part of any SEO type strategy. But if you want to have higher client retention and you want to have a more all weather proof business, here's what you can do is like, you can sell them on lead gen always, right? Like build out your own stuff, because that's a very easy thing to take away from them. And you need to make sure that the reporting that you're providing on a monthly basis separates this out and says, hey, this is what we provided you from stuff that we own, and this is what we've done for you for your sites. I wouldn't be including like SEO. I would have the lead gen stuff, reputation management. I would also be getting them into the white label version of LeadSnap and have them pay for this and teach them to run their business through LeadSnap. You can essentially set it up as like you're the SaaS company, right? So you guys, we spent a lot of money building out LeadSnap and all this stuff, and it's one of the best business models. Subscription-based software, right, is one of the absolute best business models. Well, what if you could white label that and you could sell it to your clients? And if their business gets invested into the software. All their leads are in there, their automations, the reviews that are being produced. If all that is happening through the platform and they're your client, there's a level of stickiness that happens between you and that client, right? They can't just walk away. They're like invested in this platform. So that's kind of where we're moving towards. And I think if you've got that opportunity, take it and make sure that you are marking that up. You can be white labeling the service. So some of this can be like, hey, these are the pages that we're going to be producing each month. We're going to create like whatever, 4 blog articles or 2 blog articles. We're going to have these backlinks. With this shift to this model, I recommend that you have maybe a 30-minute conversation per month with this client, right? Where you're actually showing them the value. Like, hey, here are the leads that have come in. Here are the pages that we built. Here's our plan for next month. Here's the reviews that have come in. What problems are you having? What questions are you having? There's also a potential for we're kind of playing with this idea now, this like concierge service, where like what I see so much from my clients is they don't always answer the call. And then they try to call back and they said that lead's no good. Well, you missed the call. It went to voicemail. So the value of the lead probably drops by half if they don't answer that initial call, right? So if you had somebody and you were able to profit from having somebody that is trained to answer their calls and schedule service for them, then the value that you're providing becomes even more sticky, right? So how do we get to 7 figures a year? Well, part of it is we're going to need a lot more sites and we're going to need a lot more lead gens. But once we have this relationship with the client, if we're able to raise the bill by building in other services that are value adds, this is huge, right? This can explode our revenue because then one client, so you got 2 options on how you're going to get to 8 figures. Let's say you want to keep the same amount of, like if you've got 10 clients and they're paying you $8,400 a month, then you can get to $84,000 a month, right? And that's going to get you to 7 figures for the year. Or you have 84 clients that are paying you $1,000 a month. It's much easier to manage the smaller amount of clients. So if we can add more value and we can raise that bill, we can get there a lot faster, right? If we find this good client, we can accelerate our revenue. The challenge though, like I said at the beginning, is like, you have to get the pieces in place because you cannot be the person that is managing all these different pieces. That is just absolutely not going to work. And it's going to result in you being burned out and unhappy clients. So a lot of what we've been working for the last 6 to 8 months is just like this hiring. At what revenue should you hire what person? What should that job description look like? Where should you be posting it? What part of the world do we think is best to target? What are the personality traits that are going to line up with this type of role, right? So like there's a popular thing called the Colby Index. I'm going to get into this a lot more. But the Colby Index can tell you like, hey, this person has this much like fact finder. They're going to like go and look for these facts, or they don't really care about the facts. They're just going to go with the flow. Or this person has this much follow through. So if I'm looking for a project manager, I can tell you this is the exact Colby score. You got a minimum of this, a minimum of this, so I can get the right type of person in there, right personality traits. So that goes once we're past 10K and we're going to really start scaling. We need to get those. I know that I kind of over answered your question, Ala, but it's a much deeper question than just like, should I take this person on?
I have a follow up. Just one thing. I already ordered the lead gen site to be made. So now I have a conflict. Like, do I just take over his site or do I do both at the same time and funnel it all into him?
Do both. You own the lead gens. So that's going to give you a lot of stickiness and retention towards that client. And it's going to allow you to charge more over time as those things rank. That's exactly the strategy I'm going towards, is like, hey, what if we own the lead gens? And that's a big part of our offering. That makes it really hard for them to leave us because those things, when they rank, they'll provide so much value. But what if we also do SEO? And then what if we have like, what if you learn, because I don't want you guys to try to go out and like become Google Ads masters, but what if we were able to come up with like, a third-party referral, or we teach you guys how to identify somewhere to go and find Google Ads, and you can charge, and like maybe it's $800 a month for you to pay this person to manage Google Ads, and you can charge these people $1,200 and it's still profitable for them, right? So how do we get more of these services? The more that we get in there, And if we limit it to kind of like a menu where like, hey, we're going to restrict it to this, then we don't have 57 things on the menu, because then we're not going to be able to scale. We've got 6 things on the menu, and they can add these pieces. Every time they add one, we're like, okay, I'm going to pay this person this much more money, and I'm going to upcharge it, and I'm going to offload all that management to that. And now I've got another like line in the water for this person. So I think this client retention and stickiness is going to be a big thing. And I've seen a lot of agencies struggle over the last 12 months with the way Google shook things up. And this is kind of our pivot that we're making. There's always a pivot. You guys just got to look at what's happening and then choose the right strategy. So I think it's a phenomenal idea to move in this direction. We good, Ala?
Oh, we're perfect. Thank you, Patrick.
Are you excited to come hang out in Florida?
Oh my God, yes.
Are you driving to Florida right now? Is that where you're headed? That's not for 3 weeks.
I'm driving to Florida, yes. I would walk right now if I could.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see you in person and hang out. Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go over to Greg.
Hey, Patrick, I appreciate that. I'm experiencing what you just explained, onboarding VAs across the world. And that's almost a business in itself, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
So what have you found to be successful in management of like a content SEO person and a developer and a backlist linking person and a outbound lead generator? I mean, you got 5 separate people right there. So what systems are you putting in place, or have you put in place, that you can recommend to the new guy, to us, to maybe investigate managing those people?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Greg. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. First, I recommended over the past years a book called Traction. There's also another book called The E-Myth Revisited. So those are 2 books that kind of give you a structure. Both of them are going to start with an organizational chart. You need to have an organizational chart for your business and say, hey, these are the roles that exist within my company. These are all the responsibilities for each role. Then put a name on each role. And Greg, if you're just like starting out, maybe your name is on every role, but every responsibility within that company is dedicated to a role, and there's a name on that role. And then you kind of work backwards and say, hey, I'm going to start eliminating this role. So I'll say like this backlink person, I'm going to eliminate that, and I'm going to hire this person. So for that, this is exactly what I was talking about with her, right? Is like, what are the personality traits that I'm going to be looking for a backlinker? So from the Colby Index, Colby A Index, it's $55 an employee, which may sound like a lot, but I'll tell you, it's a lot cheaper than hiring the wrong person. So for a backlinker, that's going to be someone that I want to have a high fact finder. They're the type of person that just wants to like dig through things and find out the truth. So we need to align those with that. Inside of the Traction, and I've got a couple trainings in this where you're measuring, you create a scorecard for each one of these people. And you say, okay, this is the output that I'm expecting from this role. This is how much I'm paying this person. And then I have somebody else that's gathering what did they actually produce and how does that compare to what I'm looking for. Regardless of who you're hiring, whatever you must inspect what you expect. So you have to inspect this stuff and make sure that it is, especially for a backlinker, they have the potential to damage things. I would almost recommend for that particular position, and I don't want to go down a backlink tangent, working with the group to get the link circles, as well as off the record. I've heard that people have had a lot of success purchasing these links. I know Google is not a huge fan of that, but I know that that is something that is successful. And then you don't have to rely on, managing another employee for that until you're in maybe a higher position, or, I'm not exactly sure where you are in your business, Greg.
We're real quickly, I sold a service business after 10 years. We ran about 10 crews. So I'm very familiar with operational procedures and people and processes. So I have kind of like a Henry Ford approach to this. Yep. I don't want to learn all the technicalities of developing a site and doing all this stuff. I'm just going to hire professionals to do it. And fortunately, with the Philippines, we're able to do that. We put the people that are interested in these positions through an iteration of tests, and wow, what a difference between low versus, some of them blew it out of the water, like unbelievable. And so we've hired in the last week, over 2.5 weeks of interviewing. This past week, we hired 6 VAs in various parts of the services that we need, but now we have to manage them, right? So now we got to figure out a system like ClickUps, or do we have to write ClickUps? We're not familiar with ClickUps, so that's a whole business in itself. And then also manage time management. Do we use Time Doctor or something like that, where we can, make sure they're working on our stuff at the time they said they're going to work on our stuff? So there's a lot of stuff going on, and that's before we even start lead gen. It's like just getting the business foundation set up. So it's a lot of plates spinning right now.
Absolutely. And we use ClickUp in our business. We used to use Asana. We switched over. I like ClickUp better than Asana. Both, I think, are good. You got to have that project manager. We use that project manager software. We use Time Doctor internally. I'm going to, within our coaching program, if you decide to join that, there's going to be specific training on how to set things up inside of ClickUp. And I think we may go to set things up inside of Asana too. And like, hey, these are the templates that we would use and exactly how we're going to structure those things. So I've already kind of got that on the roadmap for our coaching. I don't think it's going to be a part of our initial release, but I just see that tremendous value in having some of that structure in place. It sounds like, at first I thought you were going to kind of fall into this like integrator, you're 100% operator. I can't tell whether you're an operator or a visionary based on some of the additional comments. One of the tests that you can do, and this sounds strange, and I've actually done this with people, is you ask them a simple question, like, I'm going to try it with you, Greg, and just play along so that other people can see this. I'm going to before we do that, I'm going to one of the biggest mistakes that I made in my agency is I did not hire an operator early on. There are 2 categories. There are the visionary, which are the people that are great at identifying problems, coming up with a solution for the problem. And then the operators who are they're focused on doing the actual steps, like the little things. They love to do that. They love to do those little pieces. I hate repetitive stuff. I can't do it. I don't like to police people. I don't like trying to hold people accountable within my team. It's just not my personality. But there are people who love that. They geek out on that type of stuff. One of the things that we need to do is we need to identify, are we that operator? Are we that visionary? And you want to find somebody who plays at what has worked for you. Okay. So who is the person, if it's work for me to try to hold people accountable and do these like daily check-ins and steps, that's work for me. But there's somebody else who loves that. So I've got to find someone into that position. So we're going to go back. Let's do this quick test, Greg. So just play along with me. Tell me what steps are there to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Open the bread box, grab the bread, take out 2 slices of bread, go to the cabinet, grab the peanut butter, go to the refrigerator, grab the jelly, take a butter knife.
Yeah. This is an operations answer right here. So you're kind of more in that operator. So I'll tell you, like, you asked me that question. You got 2 pieces of bread, peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other. You ask an operator how they do that. And it's like, I'm going to the bread box. I'm going to take out the bread. I'm going to set the bread on the table. I'm going to go over here. Like, they are very detailed. So if you are falling into the category with me, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, where you're the visionary, one of the most important people that you need to get in place is this operator, because you need that person to manage these people. You need that person that is obsessed with the details. That's the type of person. And this is why you went through and you created this questionnaire, and you've got like this, like, you're putting them through this test, right? That's an operator mindset. So like, okay, I've got to like run them through this, and I'm going to categorize them here. And then after that, I'm going to interview them. And like, you're just kind of thinking through those steps.
Right.
So you have to find your counterpart. So if you fall more into that, I would definitely recommend reading Traction EOS. If you fall more into that integrator, which is what I think, then you may need to partner with a visionary, or at least get a visionary to come inside your company. I have struggled in, with having a lot of people in different time zones, right? You've got people in the Philippines, and that's the default for this industry. It's to like hire people from over in the Philippines. And I think there's cultural differences. I think there's great people everywhere you go, but I think there's cultural differences. There's time zones differences, this type of stuff. So we're switching a lot of our stuff, and we're targeting a lot of South America and Central America, because we can still get that labor that is, when we're running a startup, we can still get that labor where it's affordable for us, but we can be on the same time zone with them, and we can have maybe a little bit more cultural alignment on like what expectations are. So that is, and then like check out the Colby Index. I would absolutely run every single person that you guys hire through the Colby Index, understand what that is, understand what their tendencies are, and make sure that those tendencies that they have line up with the position. I just hired a new support person, and his follow through was high. It's an 8. That's something I wanted for support. When a ticket comes in, I need to make sure that this person is going through and they are following through every single time. I don't want ever a support ticket to not be followed through. So I've chose the personality traits that I need based on the position. Does that make sense, Greg?
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. And I think I have that person because I know that I'm very detailed oriented, but I also know that like in the service business, a lot of service business problem is the operator doesn't know how to get off the truck, and they have a challenge of growing. So I figured that out in my old company. The minute I got off the truck, we grew because I couldn't wear all the hats. So, and I'm going to apply that same model to this business model. So I understand that I definitely need somebody for operations and to oversee the group. And I think I found that person, but putting all those pieces together, I'm still responsible for that because there's no one behind me. Like the buck stops with me. I've got to execute on all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, your coaching program is awesome. If there's templates, like even the simple thing is ClickUps, that's a pain in the ass program. I mean, this could take you a week to 2 weeks just to set that fucking thing up. And excuse my language, but it's true. It's frustrating. And we got to learn all these new systems. On top of that, we're trying to develop websites. We're trying to sell the leads. We're trying to get everything lined up. I mean, there's a lot of plates spinning at one time in the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you have an advantage with your background and your personality of operations. I think once you kind of have time to digest all the different parts and pieces and what those look like, you're going to do really well with this. And I think coming in as an operator, being able to identify another operator is going to make that process easier, that transition, to make sure like, hey, this is what I'm looking, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This, like you'll have that to kind of stay after and make sure they're the right person. I think that organizational chart with all the responsibilities is going to really allow you to put this stuff inside of a box and say, okay, I can just like check these off. I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah. Good advice. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Good to hear from you, Greg. Cool. All right. Who else has a question? No. All right. If you guys have no further questions, I'm happy to give you my next.
No one asked questions, so I'm going to take advantage of the airtime. Okay. GMBs. There's a lot of people online. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are some level of people online selling services, GMB services. There's a guy trying to sell me software right now to be able to spin up GMPs on my own. I don't know what that looks like, but they want to be paid in advance. I don't know if it's a scam. I don't know if anyone in this room has tried GMBs. I did buy a GMB last week just to try the guy out. It was $80. I figured it was worth $80. It was supposed to be spun up in 24 hours. I'm still waiting for it to be turned over to me. What experiences do you guys have with that, if any? Should we stay away from that? Should we still do the traditional, get our business owners to try to get them, or go out to Facebook or Craigslist and try to do it that way? What do you guys think? Ideas on that? Yeah.
So for us, we've always gotten our own. For the most part, we've tried over the last year or so. We've paid a lot of different people. And we tried a bunch of different people. And also I have a lot of people in my network that I ask these questions, and I don't have this like amazing vendor that we just go to, right? That hasn't been the case. Building in those systems, and it seems like Craigslist and some of these other things have continuously made it more challenging to keep the account. But I think one of the things that I'm considering doing at our events, and man, I'm pretty hesitant. Building like a network of contacts across the country that we can leverage within this. I've heard of some people doing that and they've had success with that. So I would start off not trusting. I would never prepay anyone for the GMBs. I just think that's going to be a recipe for disaster. This person that's trying to sell you software to spin this out, that sounds really fishy to me. I would stay away from that. One of the things that I know we've been working for the last like 3 or 4 months is like the video verification stuff. Like, I think there was a doomsday attitude towards that, but I actually think that Google's kind of opened up an opportunity for us, right? So basically you have a minimum wage employee across the world that is making decisions all day long, whether this is real or not. And I don't think they're not part of the Google family. They're just like, hey, I'm trying to pay my bills. I don't think that they necessarily care. And I think the opportunity exists where, well, like, what if you have like invoices and business cards? And, you know, I had a buddy in San Diego, he actually printed a magnet and stuck it to a truck. Right. So going through and walking, I've heard that these video verifications can go live really, really quickly. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. You have to, and there's also people that, like, I've heard that you can kind of spoof the IP address of where you're located, showing some of this information. So I think that video verification has a great opportunity. We are going to drop some stuff at our events about some strategies towards like getting Google My Businesses. That is, we've got some really cool stuff. I think we're constant. I'm constantly pushing the project managers within my team to solve these problems. Like, hey, think outside the box, right? So we had one of the people on our team come up with an amazing idea, and we got like 64 contacts in 2 hours in like the Chicago area. So that's another strategy that I think we're going to be, kind of dropping at this event. But I would say, in summary, Greg, proceed very carefully with somebody that's trying to sell you GMBs. Second, if you do proceed with those people, my expectations on the suspension rate for any purchase GMB is probably greater than 50%, right? The unsuspension rate, we've got that around like 50%, somewhere around there. So like there's potential after that happens to get it back. The postcards, if you can create a network of people and you're saving all the people that you have contacts, if you can come up with strategies where you can find local people, whether that be Craigslist, Facebook, a million different ways to do it, that could be a really beneficial way to get people to set up that postcard stuff. And then finally, I think there's a lot of opportunity with video verification. There's some hoops to jump through. There could be some more upfront costs, but I think those video verification ones that go through are almost bulletproof. So their suspension rate is going to be way lower, and they can get live in 24 hours. And you don't have to like deal with all these other people. So we've got a lot of kind of stuff we're cooking up on that front. So we're still building our strategies around that, but that's where my mindset is.
My friend just went through a video verification for a power washing business. They literally made him walk around his entire shop, go outside, turn around, and point the camera to his building so they could see a sign. So how are we going to go on a video verify a business that doesn't exist?
What if you like, you don't have to have a shop. You don't have to have this, like, that's what he had. So he took advantage of that. But what if you can print off a street sign from like an online place for $30 and put it in your front yard, right? And show the address. Like, it doesn't have to be that level, right? What if you had your client do it at his house and they showed his equipment? Maybe you have one of those magnets for $30 that you put on the back of the truck. It's like, hey, this is our business. This is our invoice. Here's me in the website. Here's my business card. It's not, like I said, you're fooling someone that's getting paid $3 an hour across the world that doesn't care. So, right. I think play around with it, see where it goes. I think there's a ton of opportunity there.
Have you heard of guys in this business doing piggybacking off their client GMB?
When you say piggybacking, you mean like
So I follow this one company, and basically their lead site, and they're actually a national site. So basically, if you go to their location pages, every one of their location pages points to a contractor in that field, and the address is suite 2 instead of no suite. You like they'll go to their customer. You get a customer that wants to buy your leads, and then you use their location but with a suite number, and that way it is a real location. If you need to video verify, you could technically go there and video verify, and you're pointing that GMB to your site when he's got his own GMB pointing to his site. It just happens to be the same location.
I wouldn't do it that way. I think there's 2 or 3 reasons not to do that I'm very strongly opposed to. So number one, wherever our Google My Business location is, that's where our signal will be the strongest. So having 2 at that same location, it's like the benefit of a second GMB at the same location is like, we're competing against ourselves for the same lead. Strategically, what you want to do is you want to set up those antennas all over town at different places so that you can be closer to more searchers, right? The second thing is you are absolutely increasing your risk of suspension for not only yours, but his GMB, which could be a big problem. So you're taking a big risk by having 2 things in the same niche for the same person at the same location. And I don't really think there's much benefit to it. I think what you need is you need to have your client, you say, hey, Tom, my client, Tom, hey, Tom, I don't live in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I know that you do, and you probably know people around town. So one of the things that's going to make the biggest differences that we've seen from our past clients is for those that get involved and can actually connect us with people. So here's what we need to do. I've got I can send you, I'm going to send a postcard to this person, or if you want to do the video verification, you can use this, you create the invoice, this other stuff, have this person do it and explain to them like, hey, this is what allows us to help these people grow into multi-million-dollar business. It's a little bit like we got to jump through a couple hoops, but if we can do this, what we've seen from our other clients is that we can blow it up for them. And if you can do that and surround the town, it's going to be way more valuable than trying to set up multiple at the same location. And they're going to be kind of all weatherproof. Does that make sense, Greg?
Thank you very much. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It looks like we got Zach. What's up, Zach?
How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. I don't know if we've your name's familiar. I'm not sure if we've talked on here before.
Yes, I didn't figure you'd remember, but I was with you when you first started this a couple of years ago.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So I've made money doing this monthly, but just here and there, to cover stuff, whatever we needed at the time, but never consistent money like what y'all do. Well, now I'm at the point where I need consistent money because I lost my full-time job yesterday, which I do have wins. I got two roofers and a contractor. The contractor I talked to before the phone call with y'all right now, and he's agreed to pay for even small jobs $1,000. So, which is good. But like I said, everything in the past has just been, hit and miss with people, and nothing consistent to be like to take the place of that full-time paycheck.
Yeah.
And now I'm going full on in, burning the ship, jumping off. I've got to hustle on Craigslist or wherever to keep finding people, because now I've got to have more than I can handle just to have the numbers meet up,
Yeah. I think, Zach, are you in Georgia?
No, Texas, North Texas.
Okay. All right. One lesson here, and I'm absolutely not trying to pick on you for this, but I want you guys to take something away from this. If you're in this situation where Zach was before, where he had money coming in, they're saying like, dig the well before you need the water, dig the well before you're thirsty, something like that. That's do that, right? Because sometimes you get pushed into it and your back's against the wall. And had we built this up, like you probably would have been welcoming quitting your job. Right. What you're trying to do absolutely is possible. We've just got to position things and get our ducks in a row, right? So consistency is going to come from like it's like insurance, right? Where if we've got 5 sites and 3 of them start ranking worse, that's 60% of our income that we potentially just lost. If we have 100 sites that are ranking well with 100 clients, then we're a lot more bulletproof. If we lose 60%, then we've got 60 or 40, I guess, right? So so I'm not exactly sure what your question is, but I would say that would be the strategy that I would take. And if I were in your shoes, I don't know if this is possible for you, Zach. I think you would get a ton of value. I know that we've sold, I think, multiple tickets to the event. If there's any left, I would try to get there, get around these people, get plugged back in to this event. I know Jeff's flying in from Texas, and there's a few other people. Greg Adams is flying in from Houston. Where in Texas are you?
The town I'm in is Breckenridge. It's outside of Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. So just outside of Dallas area then, right?
Right.
I'm trying to think who else we have in there. But yeah, I would say stay plugged in. Let's like figure out what the strategy. How many sites do you have, Zach?
I've got 5 current ones, and they all do good, but I don't
Brian's
have
up there.
like I'm not
Brian's in
charging.
Denton.
Do what?
Brian is coming to the event. He's in
Brian
Denton.
Waddle.
Brian
Okay.
Water, yeah. I'm in Temple, north of Austin.
Oh, okay, right.
I think part of your pathway towards this is like you're all in now. You're burning the bridges. I love that. I wish I would have known to push you a couple years ago when we started this thing and like stay plugged in with you so that like, hey, what if you had $35,000 a month coming in and you lost your job? Then it's like where it's not stressful, right? It's
Right.
like, but it is what it is. This is where we are now. Let's learn from it. Let's move forward. If you guys are in that situation where he was, learn from this. But for us, Zach, like if you've already got some money coming in this, you're already like a couple steps ahead of a lot of people, right? You already know that this works.
Right.
If you've been paid for it, the proof of concept is there. Now, how do we scale it, right? How do we take it to the next level? We're going to need more sites. We're going to make sure that we're choosing the right niches. It sounds like you've chosen some like good niches with like roofing. It's a high ticket niche. It's something that's required. Those are 2 things that I love about niches. But it is more competitive. And then sometimes roofers, they don't always have the best reputations. There's obviously great people and bad people in every industry, but it sort of seems to like there's a cloud that follows people around, and roofers, like they have that cloud for whatever reason. But I think part of it is going through the process and making sure that you are, hey, I've got to get another site this month. We got to set our goals, right? We've got 5 sites. How do we get to 25 sites? And, I'm a big believer in let's move forward in segments. I don't want you to build out 20 sites right away, but maybe we add on another 10 and then we get those to rank. And maybe from those 10 sites, we get 5 clients and then we've doubled our income. And now we've learned about these niches. And once we've identified a niche that we really like, now how do we start to scale and attack the weak markets across the country so that we can accelerate our income growth? Does that make sense, Zach?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if you had a specific question or like, I don't know if I gave you the right.
Yeah, I'm just, I guess, if anybody has anything, I know y'all are, that I can focus on, that I can have like a goal, like to work towards like something, like I said a while ago, being consistent that I'm working towards, and, I need to do this and this, to
I
get to that.
I have the 30-day plan thing all edited up that I can send you, Zach.
Okay.
Yeah,
Give you
also-
a lot of, even if you don't follow it exactly, because it's not exactly what you need, you'll get a lot of, sort of detailed tips and tricks and like what could you or should you be doing, along the way. But it is a plan. It is a 30-day plan.
Okay.
So it's set out from day 1 to day 30, like what to do. I think to get 5 sites set up or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, good.
I'll send you the link. I'll put the
Okay.
link in the chat actually right now.
Okay.
Jeff, also include that what I would do to get to 10K training, right? There's that 0 to 10K training that we did.
Okay.
I think that one would be good for him as well.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, man, I would seriously, for for anyone that is kind of where Zach is, where we have somebody coming in and we're not sure how to scale it, and we want to really just attack this and go all in. Those, you guys, if you find a way to get to the event, Zach, if there's still tickets left, if not, get on the next one. I think you're going to get a tremendous amount of value from just being around people for a few days, building those relationships, those friendships, and it'll go beyond, having like a stable of people that you can ask questions to, and like what's working for you, and this type of thing that is more than just internet friends. For me, made a huge difference. So I would encourage, if that works for you, to check that out.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. We are 10 minutes past, but if there are any, I'll do one more question if there's a final question. If not, I'm going to hop off. All right. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. Look, appreciate you guys. I'm excited to hang out with you guys. It's just a few weeks away. I think we're 22 days away right now. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a great time. For those of you guys not coming to the event, hopefully there's another event, this middle of the summer that you can join us at. And for the next week, you guys, what can you do? Ask yourself, if you want your business to move forward, what can you do? Challenge yourself. You don't have to tell everyone else about it. I think you should if you really want to be held accountable. But I'd love to hear what you can do. Maybe throw it in the Facebook chat. What can I do in the next 7 days that is actually going to move my business forward? How can I be better a week from now, right? We're like a week from now, we're going to be through the first month of the year. First month is gone. If you hadn't done anything during January, you missed that opportunity. You've got this last week to try to make a difference though. So take advantage of it. Be in a better position 7 days from now than you are now, right? Okay, guys, you guys have a great week. We'll see you in the group. Thank you for your time and attention, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.